Rockingham County Government presents You've Got Grit. You've got grit, Reverend Dr. Curtis Dean of Reidsville, North Carolina. You've got grit because Bruce Lee once said, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." You've got grit, Reverend Dr. Curtis Dean. Tell us, who is Reverend Dr. Curtis Dean?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I guess I would start by saying that I am a native North Carolinian. I grew up in the Charlotte area and had the blessing of being able to have wonderful parents. My father was a barber and my mother was in the insurance industry. And it was just a fond memory growing up in that area. And then about 24 years ago, I moved to the Triad. And my wife and I had the privilege of living just south of Rockingham County. But just in the past 5 months, we've had the privilege of moving to Rockingham County, and it's been absolutely wonderful.
Tell us about your childhood, growing up, early days, your family, educational background.
Well, I had a mother and father that absolutely valued the importance of education. And so my sister and I, were the beneficiaries of wonderful early educational instruction, and they were very much a part of that. And then I had the privilege of going to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, where I secured a degree, a bachelor's degree in economics and in history, and then later had the opportunity to go on and get a master's degree and also a doctorate in theology from Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary.
How did you land in Rockingham County?
Well, that's another wonderful question. For a number of years, we've had some dear friends who have lived in this area. And so we've traveled up here on a number of occasions and have just seen the beauty of the natural landscape. The area is just filled with forest and fields and foliage and flowers, and we were just attracted to it. It just is a joy. Every day I go to work and I just have the opportunity to look across the landscape and just see the beauty of creation. And every time that I'm driving to work, I just thank the Lord above that He's given us this opportunity to live in this county.
How does your family feel about Rockingham County?
Well, my family absolutely loves Rockingham County. They love to fish and they love to swim. They love nature. They love getting out in the woods. And so this affords us the opportunity to be able to really meet a desire that they have to really get out and enjoy nature.
You haven't been in the county long, but you've been involved with writing and supporting the need for more Wi-Fi and internet support. You want to tell us about that?
Absolutely. You know, as much as we enjoy where we live, and let me say this as well, I think our experience in meeting the people in the county and how personable they are and just how gracious they are, I mean, it just seems like this is a wonderful community, a network of people who really see the value of encouraging one another and supporting one another, and it's just that really confirmed that we were in the right place when we moved here to Rockingham County. You know, Wi-Fi is one of those things that I think has become a necessity for all homes, and presently we don't have Wi-Fi. We would like to have it, but it's just not feasible for the companies that offer Wi-Fi to bring it to our home. And of course, with COVID-19 and all the different restrictions that have taken place, the number of schools that have not been able to assemble, we've, like many other families, have had to resort to in-home education. And so you can just imagine the disadvantage that it brings to our children. I have a middle schooler and a high schooler and then a college student. And we're always having to find other means to be able to get them access to the internet so they can do their educational responsibilities. And just to see the level of discouragement and how that's reinforced every day when they're not able to do what they would want to do, where many of their other friends who have Wi-Fi have that resource, I think it really creates a disadvantage. So I really do firmly believe that we need to have more accessibility to Wi-Fi throughout the county.
And you were one of the citizens who certainly answered the surveys and participated in sending your comments and concerns about Wi-Fi and the internet in, right?
Absolutely. When I saw the great grant that was being approved by the state, I was very excited about the potential opportunities that would be forthcoming to some of our rural communities. And so I'm hoping that that's just the beginning point of many additional opportunities that the state will be able to afford some of our residents who don't have the benefit of Wi-Fi access.
And why do you think it would certainly be beneficial for citizens like you to keep in close contact with our Chief Information Officer, Mr. Derrick Southern, as he tries to do everything possible to help to let folks know we need more support? And he and his team have really done a great job in working with the Great Grant Program.
Absolutely. Derrick is fantastic. I've had the privilege of speaking with him on a number of occasions. I think the one thing that blesses me is I see that he is an advocate for us, that he's really out there doing the most that he can in order that he can try to provide Wi-Fi to the residents of Rockingham County. And so for me to continue to communicate with him, hopefully will just be a source of encouragement back to him to let him know that we really are appreciative of his services. And maybe through our collaborative encouragement together, we can strive forward and see Wi-Fi come to all the residents of Rockingham County.
What would you say to some friends who are looking for a great place to live in North Carolina?
Let me tell you, I would tell them they need to start with Rockingham County. That's first and foremost, because the people are just so friendly, so accommodating. Once again, like I said before, just a wonderful sense of community here. Whether you go into a restaurant or a grocery store or specialty shop, it just seems like you're part of a network of family. And that, coupled with just the beauty that is here in this county, is reason for someone to seriously consider living in this wonderful county of Rockingham.
You've Got Grit, Reverend Dr. Curtis Dean of Reidsville. We bet you know someone who you would describe by saying, "You've got grit." Please email a paragraph describing that person who you think Spectrum 1304 and Rockingham County government should interview for You've Got Grit. Simply email your paragraph to mscott@co.rockingham.nc.us. That's mscott@co.rockingham.nc.us. Thanks again for checking out You've Got Grit.